What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Ruth the Truth here at Sports Arena. I'll be working alongside of Eric Wilson and Michael Carotenuto as we discuss all the new updates that is going on with sports. There are live sports being played, NBA is playing, NHL is coming to their second round of the Stanley Cup. So things are set in motion. First, I'm going to invite Eric Wilson to the show, the main producer of the Sports Arena. Eric, how you doing?
What's up, Ruth? Good to see you. How you feeling? What's going on?
I'm feeling great. I'm going to try and get you out of here before you start getting poured on because you know how Florida is with their bipolar weather.
Yeah, at any moment's notice, it could like torrential downpour, and then 20 minutes later, the sun's out like it never happened. So
exactly. Or you go across the street and it stops raining. Next we have on the board is Michael Carotenuto with Believe in the Pac-12 college basketball. Now, we kind of were already talking about the excitement that we are about NFL maybe coming, but it seems like college football is definitely out of the question. Mike, I want to bring it to you. What could that possibly have an impact on your college basketball season?
Well, I mean, with the Pac-12 and the Big Ten, they said they're not, with fall sports, they're not doing anything until the calendar turns. So, with football, there's been protests, and I know the conspiracy theorists, and Eric and I in the past have loved to debate conspiracy theorists, because I'm one with some things, but not others. But a lot say, the three conferences that want to do it are just doing it for the money. The other three conferences that say they're being guided by the science are just trying to railroad players and say that it's not, players want this and that. They're not. I'm not going to get into the whole not pay thing. That's a conversation for another time. But that being said, it's affecting basketball out of conference, because Pac-12 alone, there were some sick out of conference games. And they also changed their schedule this year too, where they're playing 20 conference games. So even when you're in non-conference schedule, you're playing teams in your conference in November, December. But I don't know. It could affect. It's going to be a bummer. It's going to affect college basketball out of conference. But Eric and I were talking before we started, and you heard there's no way there's not going to be a tournament this year. They bubbled the NBA. They will figure out some way.
Having to cancel March Madness was enough pain for us all. So I'm hoping that, the pandemic will reach its breaking point at some point and we could have college basketball next season. So a season that is coming up very shortly.
Hold on, Ruth. Before we go to that, I just want to respond to Mike really quick and say this to him. I'm like, okay, so let me get this straight. If the NCAA is planning to play football in the spring, how are you gonna play basketball at the same exact time? You can't.
They've talked about it. They've talked about it. They haven't given a legit plan. I'm not going to say that there's an outline, but with players going in, inevitably it would be huge, because football would start actually in middle of February. Basketball would have started in the middle of January, so you'll still have that. So there's contingencies. I'm just of the ilk. And it pains me to say, and I got to give Jay credit, and even you saying there probably wouldn't be football in the fall when we started talking about this in April. But I don't see a spring football season, because a lot of guys already are opting out or going to opt out. Some have opted out, as you know. But why are you going to play? You could play a few games, but if the other three conferences do get it, just say they do, there's no need for a spring football season. It's not. I just don't see it happening.
Okay. I'll tell you this much. There's going to be a college football season before we have another NCAA season. Mark my words on that.
Wilson, that brings up my next point. Would you say that these conferences and college football, if they want to make a season happen, would you say that it's in their best interest to maybe do a type of bubble format with these students? Because let's be honest, the students are probably safer at the practice facilities than they are running amok on a campus.
Oh, listen, no doubt about it. Listen, if they can construct some type of bubble atmosphere for the athletes, okay? But here's the thing that we're not focusing on. If you're going to do it for the athletes, then you have to allow the other students to be able to come into the college itself. You can't just have student athletes in there and not have those getting their law degree or journalism degree or whatever degree. But you've got to find a way to be able to have both. Now, if you can make that happen, and if it's going to benefit the players, if it's going to benefit the students, coaching staff, and the organization, and the universities and colleges as a whole, then yes. But I'm telling you, I still have not seen a solid plan that says to me, college basketball contained in a bubble And we're talking, if we just take let's just take the top 64 teams, which span across the entire country, okay? And we just say those 64 colleges, you must now create a bubble for your basketball players. That's not going to work if you don't have your plan in place. So I want to see the plan. Before I jump on board on this one, I want to see what the plan is to protect not only the students, but to protect the athletes.
Well, Eric, real quick, too, before we move on, they said that a lot of the Pac-12 and Big Ten, I know even in the ACC, before North Carolina shut down its campus, was saying that if you're going to bring athletes back, even though there's not going to be fans in the stadium and you want students back, athletes have their 20-hour-a-week schedule, but they're just taking everything online. So they're online, they're in the facility, like Ruth said, they're going to practice, they have film, they're in their facility, but they're not subjecting them to fully being on campus with other students as you're integrating students in, because I know ASU was looking to have classes technically started yesterday.
Right.
So,
right.
But either way, it's about putting them in online classes, keeping them with their team and stuff like that. So I'm not saying you don't have a point. But like you always say, come on, follow the money. There's no way. Last year they had to, because it was such an unknown. The NBA, we knew they had to. Fine. But I'm saying as the calendar turns and Adam Silver's been talking about viral treatments and stuff like that, they'll start the season in January, whether it's short or whatever, there will be a tournament.
All
right. So we'll leave the conversation there and we'll switch gears to the NFL. So the Washington football team has been in the tabloids today and been on headlines, but not for anything that has to do with the organization. But unfortunately, it has been brought up to the organization's attention that their head coach, Ron Rivera, has been diagnosed with lymph node cancer. Eric, I got to know, what does this mean for the future of the team?
First and foremost, cancer sucks, and can we please find a way to get rid of this damn thing, because it every single day we continually lose good people to cancer. That being said, I feel bad for Ron Rivera. This man can't win for losing. Here's a guy who took Carolina to the Super Bowl and then left Carolina. He was brought in as the new head coach of the Washington football team. They started to make changes. And please, Washington football team and fans and organization, don't think we forgot about all those harassment charges. I just have to put that in there. But at least it looks like, on whatever level you want to call it, they're beginning to fix and correct the mistakes and starting holding people accountable. Aside from all that, now we find out that Ron Rivera, a good man, hell of a coach, now having to deal with lymph node cancer. At least we can sit here and say they found it early. It is treatable. But here's the thing. Ron Rivera did not sweep this under the rug, and he wanted to make sure that there was full transparency. So I got to show that man even more love and even more respect than I have in the past. I wish him nothing but the best. Here is hoping that they can get it out of him and cure him, because this is a man that the NFL needs.
Absolutely. Mike, I want to know, if Ron Rivera is unable to focus on his football team and be on the sidelines because he needs to take care of his health, what does that mean for the Washington football team?
Well, yeah, it's secondary mostly, and they did catch it early. And Eric said, having my dad and many family members pass away from cancer, if you don't catch it early enough, it's terrible. It's a skin cancer, not that it's any weaker. I'm not saying that, but at least they found it to where it can't spread. He says he's going to be coaching. The doctors have encouraged it. They told him to do his, normal physical activities. A lot of people saying by the 4th or 5th week, he'll probably really feel it. But they only have one other coach on the staff, Jack Del Rio, that's been a head coach. Because when I saw a break this morning, I was looking at their staff, and I know it was written, but I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. And I was right. Jack Del Rio was the only one that's been a head coach. So if Rivera, who said he had a plan B but wasn't divulging it, can't be there, I think it would logically fall to Jack Del Rio. But, football side, like you said, you just hope the treatment's there. And like you said, they caught it. It's treatable. It's curable. They're upbeat about it. Hopefully, obviously, he responds well. But, the football inevitably is just secondary to it, and if it's, whether you like the team, can't stand the team, whatever, it's just, you see something like this in with anyone, and it's terrible.
Yeah. Well, we wish the most health for Ron Rivera, and we're hoping that he could still be there to support his team on the sidelines. So we'll talk about another NFL impact. We'll talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay. Ben Roethlisberger seems to be healthy. Do you think that he's going to be able to come back next season and maybe bring a championship to that franchise?
Yeah, I mean, look, a healthy Big Ben is a good thing. Even though Eric knows, I feel he's the biggest diva. If they're not talking about him for more than a week, he does something to get talked about. Talent-wise, I mean, we've seen what he's done on the field. Can't take that away from him. But would they be much more in the mix and having a rotating door of quarterbacks? Sure, but I mean, with how Baltimore's upgraded, and obviously with Kansas City not losing much. I know Tyreek Hill's banged up, but for Roethlisberger, yeah, I mean, I'd expect him to compete in the North with the. I mean, you figured the Ravens and the Steelers, the Browns, maybe if Baker may. I mean, they have the talent too to compete. Whether they can do it or not is another thing. But I mean, he'll put them in the mix more. And again, if they go 8-8, Mike Tomlin can get a team to go 8-8 that had 3 quarterbacks play last year. Of course, they're going to be in the mix.
Speaking of quarterbacks, do you think Joe Burrow is going to make any type of impact for the Bengals in that division? Eric, I got to ask you.
So it's a rarity that this actually happens, Ruth. So I want to speak on it briefly, and then I will move over to Joe Burrows. It's very rare that Mike and I 100% agree
on something.
Yeah, I know. Stranger things
when it comes
happened.
to football,
we both agree that Ben Roethlisberger is nothing short of being a diva. His name has to be in the mix. I think the only man whose name has to be more in the media is your guys' owner, Jerry Jones. I truly believe that. But that being said, here's the thing. I like Mike Tomlin. And to Mike's point, if Mike Tomlin can get that organization to go 8-8 and almost get into the playoffs, now that we've added an additional playoff spot, now that there's 7 teams as opposed to 6, yeah, the Steelers will get in. They'll be a one and done, but they will get in. Looking at Joe Burrows in Cincinnati, do I think he's going to make an impact as the number 1 draft pick in this year's past draft? That depends. You've had no preseason. You're very limited on training camp. COVID has allowed you to at least look at the playbook, but not be out there playing against teams. Being on the Zoom media call with the Bucs, something Bruce Arians said that struck a chord with me when I heard him. What he said was, guys, he's seeing them get ramped up. But here's the reality of the situation. If COVID-19 wouldn't have happened, we'd be in the midst of preseason right now, and we'd have a better assessment of how some of these rookies, free agents, draft picks are looking right now to get them geared up for the regular season. We're not going to see that. So I can't say anything about Joe Burrow until I actually see him. I do feel it's going to take him probably at least 4 or 5 games to really get the timing and the rhythm down. And by that point, if Baltimore goes on a 4-game win streak, well, guess what? You're out. I can't trust Baker Mayfield more than I can trust myself around a creme brulee. Let me just put it to you like that, okay? That's real talk. Baker Mayfield got more commercials in his repertoire, on his resume, than he does victories. You got all the weapons in the world and can't get it done. So as far as I'm concerned, deuces, you're out. That leaves Baltimore and Pittsburgh. So that's why I say to you, Pittsburgh will get in because of Mike Tomlin, not because of Roethlisberger. Joe Burrow, he'll have a couple wins here and there. Now, if he can string together a couple and start to show people that he was truly the number 1 draft pick and NFL ready, okay, yeah, let's see what you got. I might put you above Cleveland. I just might. Not yet, Mike, because I got to give my faith to OBJ, Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb. They just brought in Hooper from Atlanta. I got to see that combination of guys work. But at the end of the day, we give all praise to the quarterback and we give all hell to the quarterback. So Baker Mayfield, show up, shut your mouth, play some ball. Let's see what you're about.
And don't forget about
Mike, I want to know what kind of season would Baker Mayfield need to have for everybody to maybe forget about last season?
Well, I mean, at least he took some onus of it earlier this week, late last week, saying that, you know, he had won a lot, and he just, you know, excuse or not, he still fessed up to it about how he played. And don't forget, Eric, still now a full season of Kareem Hunt too with Nick Chubb.
Okay.
That
yes.
That could be disgusting. That's why I'm saying Cleveland. a season for Baker Mayfield. I mean, again, it has to be more like the rookie campaign. Hopefully for him and Cleveland fans, he's studying, looking at more film, especially the division film, because to me, like Eric, like we're seeing with no preseason, I mean, you want to study your division opponents the most. You play them twice, so I mean, yeah, it's 6 games. So yes, if you only won those and lost the rest, yes, you wouldn't be in the playoffs. But I mean, I think he has the talent around him, take the steps, and that's opposite of Joe Burrow. He still has some weapons, but you're right. As a rookie quarterback, yeah, you can get all the reps in practice. I mean, everybody's always saying, and this is what I love about fans because it comes out from players and preseason this, and I know season ticket holders, and you guys know, complain because if you're going to buy season tickets, you get harpooned into buying those 2 preseason games too. That's part of the package. So okay, that's that. But the first 3 or 4 weeks, and I'm with you because even okay, the Chiefs, the Ravens, I'm not just ignoring Tom Brady, but I'm saying like the Saints, even with like a guy like Drew Brees, the first 3 or 4 weeks, because we know week 1 usually has a ton of penalties. It's not going to be week 1. It's going to be through week 3, Eric. I'm with you on that. It's going to be sloppy for the pro level. So I mean, again, it won't look. A lot of things maybe might not get noticed, but it's going to be ugly. So for Baker Mayfield, that's a time, again, you're going to depend on your running game and your line. The Browns are set up there to make a run. So I'm not going to say they're out, but yes, they're definitely behind. I'll put them behind Baltimore, obviously, but I'll put them even with Pittsburgh, Eric, because again, Roethlisberger still has to prove it. There's different weapons. We'll see what Juju Smith-Schuster can do for the Steelers. But when you look at the Steelers obviously have a line. We know offensively up front, Mike Tomlin, I mean, that's been a Steelers staple anyway before he was there. But the Steelers line-wise are going to be okay. Is Connor going to have a better season? He's got to stay healthy. So I put the Browns and the Steelers, as crazy as it sounds, because 2 years ago this would have been a ridiculous – I would have had to be tested for drug use if I said I put the Browns and the Steelers equal. So that division will be interesting. I mean, it is Baltimore's to lose, obviously. But like Eric said, who's the other team chasing for that next playoff spot? Because if the Browns get right and lean on that running game early and ease into a passing game, people can say that, that helps every quarterback. But that would definitely help Baker Mayfield with the season he had last year.
No, absolutely. And we'll leave the conversation on that for the NFL and switch gears to the NHL, who is coming around the corner of actually crowning a champion first in their bubble season. Mike, I got to bring it to you. Are you surprised that the Capitals are knocked off for the playoffs?
A wee bit. I think a lot of people were thinking, hockey's going to suffer more than basketball. Anyone that watches hockey, because you figure basketball preseason is important. And getting your game legs, like we've always talked about, Ruth, getting your game legs back under you is hugely important. But in hockey, it's different. I mean, you have shifts. You could be gassed. Goalies might be the only one that weren't as affected as much. But you bring it to Washington. Their old coach, Barry Trotz, wins them their first ever Stanley Cup, and they don't want to pay him. The Islanders snatch him right up. So, and he was graceful about it. Obviously, he knew he was going to get another job, but he said he had a special relationship with all those players. Once Backstrom got hurt, I wasn't as surprised because the Islanders were playing well. But the bubble thing with hockey has been phenomenal. I thought that Washington would get them. But the game of the turn, and it's not just because it happened last night. Dallas is losing 3-0, and they score 7 unanswered goals and win 7-3 to just send Calgary home and demolish them. If there were fans in that arena, it probably would have registered like an earthquake. Anyone that's been to a playoff hockey game, no, I'm serious.
You're right. You're right.
For that, look, going to a hockey game in general, fans are passionate, they're fun. Yes. It's a different atmosphere for people that don't go. But when you go to playoff hockey, when you like touch the apps on your phone and get them to shake, I guarantee you that would have happened in that save. Because you think, okay, 3-0, it's 3-1. But Calgary's moving the puck. They're attacking.
People are leaving.
Everything.
They're on their way out the door.
Yeah, people in Dallas after the first period, even though it's hockey, would have been like, really? Okay, well, there's going to be a game 7. And they would have been like, we left that game. So just the fact that, and I even said it to you guys last week. I mean, we talked about it shortly, but the NBA and NHL, the players have brought it. I mean, I know with the fans and with the fans in the NBA,
the virtual
and it's
fans.
cool how the
virtual fans.
Yeah, it's cool how they do that, but in a way, it's just like with hockey. I mean, like I said, it's so much more of a game of emotion. Yes, NBA arenas get loud, but like I said, I've been to many, many playoff hockey games here and in Jersey, and even in New York at the Garden. I mean, it's insane.
Oh yeah,
and the fact that the players have brought it again. Yes, people say they're professionals, but we talked about this a few weeks ago, guys. They haven't played in empty arenas probably since they were like 12 and 13 years old because they're playing juniors and they're in tournaments. So the level of play, I mean, the NBA, it's taking a minute. Some of the 8 games that the teams have, we know we're a little sloppy, but overall the players have bought it. But for the NHL, again, if people aren't watching now, and the fact now it's tough because you have to choose between the NBA, Eric. So it's like there's 4 games back to back, and then you have hockey. So it's like at halftime of the basketball, if you're watching that, you can flip to hockey and be like, okay, I could get almost a period in. But it's a sports person's dream. It sucks we can't be there, but it's a sports fan's overload and dream.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, there's not enough TVs in my house right now, and that's a problem. So that I can't watch the NBA, the WNBA, the NHL, and maybe I'll have baseball here holding the side. But I'm just saying, you're absolutely right. Watching the replays of the NHL have just really excited me. I'm happy that my Flyers are still in there. I mean, right now, they are up 3-2 over the Canadiens. So hopefully they can pull it out tonight, even though it's the Canadiens. So I expect there to be a game 7 on Sunday. But to all your points that you made, man, NHL has been great. I have just been my focus as
Eric,
you
hold on 1 second. I don't want you to fall over. I'm going to do it right now because I almost forgot. Your Flyers have actually outplayed the Canadiens. I know they can send them home. I don't ever, Ruth, this is hard for me. I will never root for the Flyers.
I know.
It's worse than, to me, this is worse than like needing the Eagles to win. It's worse than that. So Eric knows. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'll let you finish. I'm just saying the way they've played. I mean, Hearts had maybe one so-so game in goal, but besides that, man, I'm just glad that the Rangers went home, the Penguins went home. So 2 out of the 3 trifecta are home. I compliment them. I just really hope they don't win it.
Are the Lightning still in it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The Lightning are still in it. They have to be in it because if they lose again,
they did. I know that's what I'm saying. They got swept last year.
Yeah.
Swept.
No. You need to just go on and revoke your NHL card if that happens because I don't even want to be. I live in that area. I don't even want to be around here if that's
just about to ask you that too because
cloud just over the whole city.
Oh yeah,
and they've been a loaded team. Real Eric, just shortly, they've been a loaded team. I mean, locally you're there. Yes, we know this. Anybody who knows Stanley Cup playoffs, a goalie stands on his head. Yeah, you got to get a few bounces. You actually have to be better than trash on the power play. You can't be like 1 for 30 or something like that. But they've had the team. They've had the pieces. They had the speed to play well. What's it? Even before when it locked down, they were hot. They were very hot. So what's the attitude with them like there, though? I mean, are people kind of like, if they don't win it this year, they're not that they're done with them, but they're frustrated?
Everybody is, because of how Tampa has played so far, everybody is still on pace and on course and in full support of this team. But please, I'm telling you right now, it would be worse than a Philly-Dallas brawl outside of Lincoln Financial if the Tampa Bay Lightning lose again in the first round with, as you said, all the weapons and all the talent they have. I'm hunkering down. Forget the hurricanes and the tropical storms. There's going to be some true lightning strikes coming up in that area if they get ousted in the first round.
And you know that me and Mike Carotenuto will be smack in the middle of that Dallas Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles brawl.
Yeah, I'm right there with y'all. Keep going.
Wait, Ruth, real quick, before we move on, did you see SportsCenter? Did you see Jalen Hurts on SportsCenter with that little kid, Alexander?
No.
Oh, you got to YouTube it. This little kid's a Jalen Hurts fan, and they surprised the mom and the son, the 2 sons, and with Jalen Hurts. I'm not getting into it, but just YouTube it. Mad props to Jalen Hurts. And I actually thought the hat he was wearing, even though it was Eagles, Ruth, don't hate me, was actually a pretty stylish hat, Eric.
He's about to go for Wentz's job, so I ain't mad at him.
He's not going. Anyhow, I'm gonna let you keep going.
All right, gentlemen, we're going to leave that there. We have Eric Wilson with the Sports Arena, Michael Carotenuto with Believe in the Pac-12. We're going to talk some NBA because the playoffs are heating up, and we are just all so happy to be a part of it and be able to watch 4 back-to-back games. I mean, there's so much sports on TV. I was trying to figure out a way to call out of work tomorrow and not sound like a psycho saying that I just wanted to stay home to watch some basketball. So I got to know. The Trailblazers and the Lakers. I was rooting for the Blazers, but they fell to the Lakers, and they have now tied the series. And we've got an injury that nobody is happy about. Damian Lillard has suffered a dislocated finger in his left hand, which is not his shooting hand. But after the game, there was a lot of discomfort, and he let the press know. Eric Wilson, I got to know, how do you feel about the Blazers possibly not being able to play with Damian Lillard next game?
Oh, well, I mean, listen, for 2 games, it was definitely Dame time, but you go game 1 and you beat LeBron and AD and that entire cast and
double digits.
Yeah. And a lot of people begin to stutter step a little bit. And these aren't the true Laker fans. These are those LeBron fans or AD fans. So in game 2, what does LeBron and AD do? Well, they remind you just exactly who they are. So Dame having the injury, how does that affect them? I see it like this. If it's a minor injury and he's out for maybe a game or maybe 2, just depending on how much it irritates him to play, it's going to be impactful. But please make no mistake about it. Ladies and gentlemen, see this right here? Ain't no watch, but guess what? When it's Dame time, it's Dame time. He going to give them a run for their money. So it depends on how long he's out. Now, if he's out for game 3, but he's back by game 4, this is still, in my opinion, going to 7 games. If he's out more than those 2 games and LeBron, AD, and the Lakers are allowed to go in there and just run shot and do what they do, it's a wrap.
Mike, I got to know, what do the Blazers do to keep in it?
Well, right when we started, guys, it's not that I'm breaking news, but since I get when the series started, I decided to get updates from the Blazers on Twitter. Right when we started, Terry Stotts said Damian Lillard will play in game 3 because Dame said he was playing after game 2.
I heard that.
But Terry Stotts said he'll be wearing a splint on his hand and he'll be playing in game 3. So you're right. I'm with you. CJ McCollum is just as good of a shooter, maybe not the depth, the range, I should say, of Lillard, which not many people have that are human. So that being said, it is tough.
Logo.
Yeah, exactly. LeBron had 10 points last night. I know.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, Jalen Rose had a little bit of fun with that, Eric, about saying
LeBron don't need to score 30 a night, y'all. He's got a supporting cast.
He doesn't.
Look what happened when he scored 51 when he was still with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they still lost.
Right.
Well, right, but I'm just saying, the 10 points isn't going to cut it every game, though. Look,
No.
AD had a great game. AD needed to go off. Shaq called him out saying, great, he had 21 points in the first half of game 1, only 7 points in the second half. He goes, 21 points and a half is not easy, but you can't just show up and lay an egg and have 7 in the second half. Look, we said before the series, we went with the Blazers. I went with the Blazers. That they don't play defense, though. They're going to have situational stops. Now, they figured it out in game 1. I mean, yes, when you have Dame and CJ hitting those shots, when Nurkic, again, can roam down low, I'm not saying Anthony Davis can't defend him, but when you're switching and guys are moving out and you're trying to put the length of Anthony Davis to stop Damian Lillard, who's looking you in the eye, just shooting over you and saying, game, like Paul Pierce, I called game. But I mean, it's tough because it's a non-shooting hand. That's fine, but guys are going to be swiping at the ball now. I'm not saying it's cheap. It's chess. Guys are they're constantly swiping at the ball anyway. So he's almost got to overthink what normally comes natural to him, just with the flow of the game where he wants to go. So he's got to protect it. But if the Lakers fans, like you said, maybe not true Lakers fans aren't going to think this. The LeBron AD fans, but if Lakers fans think that boy can't shoot, he'll put up 50 on him. I'm gonna say, like, if he plays the whole game, like his normal minutes, he could put up 50.
Yes.
If you think like, oh, I'll lay off him and let him shoot, fine. You want to lay off him once or twice, he'll probably be like, okay, cool, thanks. Like, he didn't forget how to shoot. Now, that's huge. Yes. Are the Lakers the better defensive team? And that was a question, I said, coming into this. Yes. But Portland can score with anybody. So, again, yes, everybody knows nobody's going to make every basket. But Portland can sit there and score with you. Once Dame went out, it was different. It was a little bit deflating. I thought Nurkic might step up a little more because AD, again, was having that great run.
And that's what they needed. That's what they needed.
Right,
they needed
absolutely.
AD to step up because of his performance in game 1. And that's what I said. The playoffs are a different animal, okay? So even though the number 8 seeds in both the Eastern and Western Conference division, I'm not going to let y'all forget that Magic took game 1 from the Bucks.
I was going to bring that up. We're not done.
I know. I'm just saying. Since that's happened, you have to expect that the number 1 seed is going to remind people why, in fact, they are the number 1 seed. So now, the way I see it, now we get down to the nitty-gritty. Now we get down to seeing who's going to be the better team, which is, and thank you for that, Mike, the fact that Dame is going to play. Okay, I still say Lakers are going to find a way to get it done. But what I will tell you is this. I expect it now to be a 7-game series because Dame is not going to just go. He's not going to go quietly. He's not. Carmelo's not. CJ's not. The rest, Nurkic, Nurkic. They're not going to.
Thank you. I forgot about Carmelo, not in a bad way. But let me ask you this too.
Only scored 2 points last night, gentlemen.
But again, he has to be the facilitator.
Right, exactly. He can't stop the ball like he used to because that's what he got crushed for. But Eric, let me ask you, okay, you're saying LeBron doesn't have to score 30 tonight. They went to – obviously the focal point was Anthony Davis, and LeBron chipped in 10. Again, like, I'm with you. I don't care. If, throughout time, if certain dudes only scored, 10, 15 points, I'm like, cool, whatever. I mean, Harden scored 20 last night. But if like you said, he can score 10 points. But if Anthony Davis doesn't have it, you're going to need LeBron to score. I just don't think he can be a 10-point facilitator, almost a 10-point decoy facilitator, because that will give, in my opinion, not that AD can't dominate, but come on. LeBron they need to be equal for the 7 games to go their way, because I'll tell you what, the less LeBron has with that suspect Blazers defense, the more confidence to me it gives the Blazers. I'm with your point, but it's not going to be AD every game. LeBron can't just have 10 and win.
Mike, you know this just as much as I and Ruth both know this. At any given point in time, LeBron James can and has taken over a game. But he is becoming more of that leader. And if he notices that someone else has the hot hand or that someone else is playing to the level that he wants them to be at, then LeBron's like, okay, you do you. Just know that if you need me.
He only had 7 assists.
Right. But that's my point. LeBron knows if you need me, I'm here. I got you, fam. But if you want to take the run and you want to take the reins tonight, hey, guess what? I'll do whatever I got to do on my end. And I'm not worried about my numbers. I'm not worried about my plus minuses. What I'm worried about is that W. But trust me, if there ever comes a moment where he looks out there, because LeBron got that court vision. If he ever notices, hey, this team's starting to do something that's going to give this guy, my guy over here, a little bit of trouble. Okay, bruh, hey, tag me in. Let's go. I got this.
I just read an article, and I wanted to ask you, gentlemen, do you think it's a distraction that LeBron is on Twitter and maybe possibly doing some legal allegations towards a promotion? I guess he made a comment about the whole voting and how it's working out, and people are kind of putting him on blast about that. Do you think that's a distraction during this series?
I don't think anything's a distraction for these guys. Here's the thing. In any sport, and I've said this to Eric before, Ruth, people say, oh, is it a distraction? Because somebody brought up, oh, well, this has to be a distraction. When you're at that level, outside of a family personal issue, anything else, it's white noise. He's
taking it to Twitter and seems to be pretty upset about this.
But people on Twitter are gonna. I'm not saying that people on Twitter aren't gonna be upset, but I don't. It's not.
No, he himself is tweeting about the situation. I don't know if you guys.
I know. No, I get that, but I'm just saying, I don't believe it's. There are certain distractions, but like I said, when it comes to family,
I completely agree.
Speaking of family, we're going to switch to a different team. Speaking of family, we had Mike Conley leave the bubble for the birth of one of his children. Congratulations to the Conley family. I want to know, now that Mike Conley, a veteran point guard for the team, is that going to be a huge impact, and should the Nuggets be worried?
I didn't give the Jazz much of a chance to begin with, just because I still blame Rudy Gobert for the fact that we lost and had to pause an NBA season. Yep, I said it.
I'm not over either.
I said it, and I'm gonna keep saying it. If Rudy Gobert wasn't stupid,
he's never gonna live that down.
Nope, he's not.
Defensive Player of the Year, he took out the whole league.
I don't care. Be smart about your decisions, jerk. You ruined my NBA season. I had to wait 4 months for it to come back, Rudy Gobert. Nah, Mike, no, no, I don't care. So I didn't give Utah much of a chance at all. Mike Conley, you came back to help your team. Are you going to be helpful? Yes. Are you going to be productive? Yes. Are you moving on to the next round? No. I'm supporting Denver the whole entire way. And the only reason I'm supporting Denver, aside from Bobo and, the rest of the team, is I just want them to beat Utah and send Gobert packing.
All right. Rudy Gobert.
Go ahead, Mike.
He's never going to let him down.
He was irresponsible. I can't say he wasn't. Making a joke of it, again, not a good thing to do. In hindsight, of course, the answer was bad. He didn't travel to every state and spread the coronavirus.
I don't care.
Come on, Eric.
I don't care. You shut down the NBA because you were the first guy.
Right, but the NBA would have been shut down anyway. Every other
we don't know that.
We
don't know that. We don't know that, Mike.
Come on, Mike. I know you saw the videos. They've had it on ESPN.
Absolutely. Well, first they were talking about, we got to get fans out, and then numbers started going up, and then players didn't feel but numbers in society were going up, so they weren't going to be bubbled right away. That wasn't talked about right away. Again, yes, Rudy Gobert was irresponsible. I'm not going to say that. To the Nuggets, Jazz, though, I picked the Nuggets. I like the way the Nuggets play. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell is one of my favorites. Kid is sick. With Mike Conley coming back, does it free up Donovan Mitchell a little more? Possibly. They will. I think that series does go 7, but I'm with Eric though. I'm taking the Nuggets because I think the Nuggets are deeper, and I think they're that team in the West just didn't get talked about before the shutdown anyway enough, and I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, Rudy Gobert is irresponsible.
We're gonna hop, skip, and jump to the Eastern Conference. We had the Orlando Magic won game 1 against Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks. But in game 2, it seems like they lost their spark. Eric, I got to know what's going on and what is your Magic perspective?
Ladies and gentlemen, let me be very clear when I say this to you. For all those who are still sleeping on the Magic, keep sleeping on them. That's what I want y'all to do. Because I've even tweeted this to our good friend, Mr. Stephen A. Smith of ESPN. He going to owe the Orlando Magic an apology when they do what I still am convinced they can and quite possibly will do, and that is beat the Milwaukee Bucks in the first round. Here is the thing. I've said it when Alex and I have done the Magic perspective, and I'm going to say it again here on the Sports Arena. Hey, Chris Middleton, where are you? Where are you? You're supposed to be the Robin to Giannis Antetokounmpo's Batman, and we ain't seen hide nor hair this brother. Okay, 4 for 12. What? Huh? Who? Look, you can get away with that in game 1, but in game 2, who did we see? We saw Giannis. We saw the Lopez brothers. We saw the rest of that team rise to the occasion. And mind you, by the way, the Magic were within single digits in the fourth quarter of winning that game yesterday. Now, they were unsuccessful, but you know what? They didn't get blown out like Portland got blown out by the Lakers. If they would have got blown out, I would be sitting here today saying to both of you, you know what? I was a little too happy with my decision. I had too much of a homeward heart pick as opposed to a head pick. But I'm telling you this. Go ahead, Ruth.
You don't believe a 96-111 lead is a blowout?
I don't. Not by 15 points. No. What did the Lakers do to Portland last night? That, to me, was a blowout. Losing by 15 points was at the end of the game, you could just see that they had, as much as they wanted to persevere through it. And when they got down and the lead was only 9, you just saw, I think they got too much in their head.
Right.
And so now it's 1-1. Let's see what happens tomorrow. And then I'll reassess. But I'm still saying Magic with the upset.
Michael Carotenuto, are the Magic
Wow.
going to upset the Bucks?
Look, I said they would play hard. I said, and your our good friend Alex said it was going to be a sweep. I said I thought the Magic could get 1, maybe 2. But if Giannis goes for 28 and 20, let that sink in. 28 points and 20 boards, you're not winning. Dude goes for 20 boards, you're not winning. That being said, hey, they're going to fight hard. Yeah, there's always those, the few last buckets in the minute or two. So not going to say they got blown out, but again, to your point, and I was going to say that too, Chris Middleton nowhere to be found. If he's found with the Lopez brothers and Giannis, come on, and Bledsoe, forget about it, man. You don't stand a chance. But I will say this. The Twilight Zone moment for the NBA yesterday, 3 of the 4 winning teams all scored 111 points. If Miami would have hit that last hoop, they would have scored 111 points. All 4 teams would have scored 111. That's the Magic number. No, but all kidding aside, it's one of those things. Look, I thought the Magic would fight. They punched him in the mouth in game 1, and the Bucks responded in game 2. Yes, they got to within 9, but come on, Eric, you never really felt that the Magic were still having that same control and push that they had in game 1.
Oh, listen, Mike, make no mistake about it. It was sloppy from tip-off. Okay, that game was sloppy with transition ball and spacing. It was sloppy from the get-go.
Yeah, it took the whole first quarter to get into double digits.
Thank you. And when you allow the first quarter to be as low of a score as it was, which I'm not even going to talk about it because I still got love for the Magic.
They got it.
But when that happens, you're continually trying to fight your way through a wall with a spoon. I mean, come on, man. No, it's not going to happen.
Right.
So
with a spoon.
I'm just saying. No talk. So,
hey, sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Very true. Very true. But I still got love for him, and I still say upset. Let's see what happens. Ask me on Sunday. I don't know how I feel. Ask me on Sunday. Real talk.
All right. We will get back to this conversation on Sunday. Gentlemen, can we talk about the WNBA just a little bit?
Of course.
We had Lloyd from the Seattle Storm score a season-high 35 points. Now, men, if you want to continue to say that these women don't know how to ball, please see it for yourself. Go ahead and turn on the television and just watch because these girls know how to throw it down. I'm so proud to be a basketball player myself. Eric Wilson, what was your biggest surprise of these games with the WNBA?
The resiliency of the Chicago Sky, because they have not been at 100% this whole entire season. Okay? Stephanie Dolson played the first game, and then she was out. Sydney Colson came. She had to be quarantined, but then Sid started to play. What happened then? We see Cheyenne Parker go down. All right? Now, Diamond DeShield went down last night. Don't know to what extent her injuries are. I'm still trying to get that. There was supposed to be a press conference this afternoon. It got canceled. So I'm sure when I talk to Coach Wade tomorrow, I hope to find out and be able to give you guys more of an update. So stay tuned for that one. But here's my biggest surprise. Something that I've learned in following the WNBA. Typically, the MVP conversation is controlled by centers and forwards within the league. But this year, the one name that people need to stop sleeping on, and I'm a big fan of hers because she has given me permission to call her Miss Courtney Vandersloot of the Chicago Sky. This woman, let me tell y'all something, is a Swiss Army versatile utility knife from all standpoints. Coach Wade has said she is the head of their snake. She always gives credit to the rest of her squad saying this team goes as far as another player will go, such as an Azuree Stevens, a Cheyenne Parker, even credit to their rookie, Ruthie Heber, or Gabby Williams, or Azuree. I can go through the whole list. She never puts the onus on herself. That, to me, is a leader. And I asked Allie Quigley last night, I said, Allie, what's it like to work and be with someone like a Courtney Vandersloot? She's like, Eric, this woman works relentless every single day, even on her days off. And I know what a lot of people aren't talking about. I see it firsthand. Coach Wade sees it firsthand. But I'm telling you right now, remember the name, WNBA Chicago Sky All-Star guard, Courtney Vandersloot, MVP.
Mike, any response to the impact of the WNBA?
Yeah, no, I mean, I love it. I mean, she has played well. I know that Eric and I had our little talk after the first Mercury game when Diana Taurasi and the girls kind of lit the sky up and the sky got them back.
With no Taurasi, Mike. With no Taurasi. Let's be fair about it.
Right, but you know me, I'm still not making it. Well, yeah, but they still thought. I mean, I'm not saying Taurasi wouldn't make a difference, but at the same time, like they just outplayed them that game. They outshot them. They outplayed them that game. It happens. But Diana Taurasi, I mean, look, WNBA, I've been spoiled. I mean, she's been here in Phoenix, seeing her even back in the day at UConn, going to Mercury games, not even covering, just as a fan. I mean, she catches the ball and and defender's right there, and she's just like, okay, like you're not there. Like I've been spoiled. Eric knows this. I've been spoiled. I haven't got to see go to as many games as I've wanted to, and I've been to quite a bit. But when you're spoiled by seeing someone like Diana Taurasi, but then you get in the bubble and you're like, yeah, you knew they could play. It's a different atmosphere, or the wubble. Sorry, different atmosphere.
That's it. The wubble.
But yeah, I mean, the way Chicago. And I mean, the way these teams are playing, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, New York, again, they lose, and that's the bummer of this to me, not getting to see Sabrina Ionescu.
I know.
The way she dominated at Oregon, I mean, look, that's the top thing that probably annoys me about not having any tournaments last year was seeing how badly Oregon would just whoop people. Mm-hmm. And hopefully ASU could have been on the other side of the bracket and played him in the championship. That would have been a dream for me. That being said, it sucks that she's injured, but New York's got a young team and they're fighting hard too. And Eric and I think we talked about that earlier. Like it's not even same thing with the NBA. I mean, you get in, you figure, oh man, it looks sloppy. Yeah, the first game or two. I mean, especially for the Mercury, I was like, man, I thought they could win a championship. I mean, they had some great trades, some good signings. Taurasi's back, Griner's there, and then Diana's like, "Yeah, I'm accountable too. We're playing defense like punks. You guys aren't helping out." And then they rattled off 4 in a row. She gets banged up, but I mean, you see the talent there, and that always cracked me up because I always used to say to my friend, people that had young kids, I'm like, go to a women's college basketball game. And it's not patronizing or go to a WNBA game because yes, the game is not played above the rim. But as we all know, your athleticism, not that NBA players don't work hard, but again, you can slack on little things if you can get up above the rim. The fundamentals of the women's game have always, well, not always, but for a longer time have been more solid. Yes. Watch the fundamentals. I used to tell people, I'm like, I don't care if you have a boy or a girl. Go to a women's college basketball game and watch setting screens, ball handling. I'm like, it's might not be played above the rim, but they can shoot just as good, and you'll learn so much more. But they've taken it to a whole new level, and absolutely. I mean, it's not a surprise to me because I grew up watching it. So I'm not surprised. I just hope my Mercury can bounce back, and then Eric has to say that I was right when they win the title. Because Ruth, I enjoy when Eric has to say that I'm right, especially when it comes to football.
It's very rare that I say
you're right. He says, I agree.
It's very right. It's very few and far between that I say it. But I have to give Mike love when I do from time to time, but it don't come that often.
So your Phoenix Mercury will have a chance to bounce back as they play the Minnesota Lynx tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern time. And we have the Washington Mystics facing the Dallas Wings at 7 p.m. And we have the Los Angeles Sparks facing the Atlanta Dream at 4:30. So make sure everybody is tuned into the WNBA because these women could shoot the skies out. It's no ceilings for them. All right, gentlemen. Well, it's been great. Thanks so much for hanging out with me and being able to talk some sports. I will be talking to you soon. We have Eric Wilson with Sports Arena and Michael Carotenuto with Believe in the Pac-12 Basketball. And this is Ruth the Truth. Make sure you guys are tuning in. Next Wednesday, I will be debuting my new female podcast. We are talking all things sports. It's going to be called Beauty and the Cleats. So make sure to tune into that at 8 p.m. for Ladies Night. All right, gentlemen, it was a pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Real quick, before we get out, I want to make sure, as you see, I'm wearing my shirt. I got to shout out the entire crew at the National Scouting Combine. They've been so good to me over the last 5 years. So to Coach Jimmy Johnson, the main man, the CEO, founder, Jimmy Kibble, to my Uncle Jay and my cousin Greg Wilson, my boy Chad, the trainer that he is. And of course, I couldn't forget my main partner in crime, Scott, man. I love y'all. Can't wait to hang out with y'all, as always, in Indy. But yeah, peace and love to everybody. We'll talk to y'all soon.